Today we're going to start our You Matter project. Your project is going to look different than this example, but it's where I got my idea for what we're going to work on. Today is a day where you are going to sketch and come up with a plan, but your plan can change as you develop your idea. Right now, I want you to think about a hard day that you might have had. If somebody was going to come try to cheer you up or tell you a reason why you are important or matter, what would be something that they might say about you? Today, you're going to get a sketchbook, and that's going to be where you do your brainstorming. Start by grabbing a pencil and writing your name and class code on the front. Then you're going to turn to the first 2 pages. I have a list of different describing words that can finish your you are statements, but you can also add other words. For me, I am saying that I am creative, I am artistic, and I am, this last one takes a little longer, I am playful. After I have my 3 words, I'm going to try to choose which word I think will be the word I want to work with for this project. If you're stuck between 2, you could always make 2 designs and then pick which design you think is the strongest. I'm working with the word artistic. The next thing you're going to do is come up with some symbols or images that can show the word you chose. Remember, your clients for this project are kindergartners through 5th graders. Kindergartners are going to need pictures to understand what word they are looking at on a page. The word that I chose was artistic, so I'm going to write artistic in that first line. Then I'm going to try to come up with some pictures that would illustrate my word. I can use my imagination to show these images. I'm drawing a paintbrush, for example. But if I need help right now, I could also use my Chromebook to look up some reference images to help me complete this task. If you are sitting at your seat, it might take a few minutes for this to pop into your brain. Here's a paint palette. You could discuss some ideas with the people around you, and maybe they have some picture ideas for your word. But if you're really struggling to come up with any images to connect your word in pictures, you might need to go back to your list and pick a different word. Try to think of simple images. You don't have to make anything too complicated. I'm not trying to draw the Mona Lisa. That's artistic, but definitely not something that I think is appropriate for me in this project. And these don't have to be the best pictures I've ever drawn. I am simply sketching out some ideas so I can get my creative juices flowing. I might use some of these ideas, I might use none of these ideas, but I'm starting to get my idea to form for my final poster design. I'm thinking of one more image that would show artistic. How about a tube of paints? That would be one. And again, this is just artistic-ish. If it's not your best paint tube, don't worry about it. Remember, this is just a sketch for you to come up with some ideas on. All right. Let's talk about lettering. I love hand lettering things, but it is something that's tricky when you first get started. I'm going to go ahead and just use my pencil to make a quick U uppercase in my design at the top in the middle. Then I'm going to write my R in the middle. And the final step today is to write your word. My word is artistic. Now, you've probably had a situation where you start to write a word on a poster or something you want to show, and you realize after you write it, oh man, that's not the appropriate size, it's not straight, it's crooked, or you've probably also experienced where you get to the end of the paper and you run out of space for all of your letters. It's the worst. So I'm going to teach you a strategy to help you make sure that your word is centered and perfect. If you count the letters of your word, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, for artistic, 8. I'm going to go ahead and find the middle letter, which is I. Now, today it's important to remember we are not just writing, we are drawing this word. So normal writing requires us to start with the first letter, but the drawing way, we're going to start with the middle letter. And I'm going to start in the middle of my page where I'm going to put that word. So if the middle is in the I, I'm going to write the spot on the right side of my word, STIC. And then I'm going to put my I in the middle, and I'm going to go backwards to write my other part. And this is where your brain's going to have to do a little bit of work to spell backwards. You can always flip back and forth in your packet. When I look at this now, I have all of my letters evenly spaced, and they're not running off the page. Now that I've got my letters laid out, I'm going to try to make them a little bit more fun. I'm going to show you some simple bubble letters to get started with today, where I'm simply tracing around the outside of my regular letter, and I'm capturing those center lines on every single side with my bubble. Think about you are surrounding your enemy on all sides. Make sure there is no room for them to escape, and go slow to try to make it even and equal. You can also look on Seesaw in the activity for different font choices. I highly recommend that you think about your word and what font fits your design. But also make sure that the audience that's going to look at your poster is going to be able to read your word. All right. My letters are looking great. I can read them. Looks neat. And remember, if you need to erase or fix, this was your first attempt today, so you're not supposed to be perfect. Today is the day to try out things, fail, and learn how to be better.